EA Sports. It's in the game.
Hey guys, Russ Kiniry here, designer NCAA Football 10. I worked on a lot of, gameplay, dynasty, and, one of the features actually we're going to talk about today, which is game planning. First, what we're going to start off with is the offense and, going through some of the options and talk about them in a little more detail. First off, you can obviously always set everything aggressive, and I have a feeling that most people out there have been going in here and setting it to aggressive right off the get-go. I got to kind of advise against that for trying to play the whole game as aggressive as you can see as we kind of walk through each one of these. Everything kind of has a risk and reward with it. The first one we're going to talk about is not quite as dramatic, but what it allows you to do is with your receivers decide how they're going to react after they're done running their route. So you can go in and you can set them to aggressive, which you'll say, when I'm done running my route, go deep. So if a guy runs a curl, stops, once he's done, he finishes his route, he'll turn and he'll take off. Or you can take a little more conservative approach, which will, have the receivers come back to your quarterback and help you out, in a situation. If you find out you're getting a lot of pressure and stuff, they'll actually come back to you. No real penalties associated with it. It's more of a strategy element. Second on the list is where really the penalties start to jump in, and that's, holding your blocks. As you can see, with holding your blocks, you're going to be able to say, all right, I want to be aggressive. Let's get out there. Let's block longer. And what'll happen is you're going to get more holding calls. So if you're trying to play the whole game as an aggressive team, you're going to end up getting penalized. You will see some bigger running lanes. You'll see guys won't be able to get off blocks as quickly, but you're going to pay for it in penalties. However, on the flip side of that, like I said, with all these options, we try to give you, each side of the coin. The other one being, avoid holding. If you go conservative, the guys aren't going to hold at all. You're not going to get really any holding calls, but the blocking may be a little less. You may see defenders slip off a little earlier. You may see them, slide by untouched sometimes. Same thing with impact blocks. This is where your offense will try and knock down the defenders more often. And the flip side of that being is clipping calls in this one. So it works. The holding blocks and impact blocks kind of really work hand in hand. So you can go a conservative one, aggressive on the other, and if you notice you're getting too many penalties in one area, it's easy for you to go in there and change it. That's one thing to remember with all these options, is that any time during the game, as I'm calling plays, I can jump into game planning, and I'm right there. Next on the list is another one that doesn't have a penalty associated with it, but has a very high reward and a very high risk, in that make a big play. What'll happen on all your catches is that you're able to decide if you want your receivers, tight ends and backs, if you want them to try and make a big play. What'll happen is right after they catch the ball, they have a very high chance of breaking that first tackle, like right after the catch. But you're going to see a lot more drop passes. You're going to see them hit them in the hands, and they're going to drop them, because what they're looking to do is make a play. They're not worried about focusing on actually making the catch, which is the other side, where they look the ball in, take their time, and make sure that they catch the ball before they try and make a move. Which ties into the next one, and the next two with breaking more tackles on running and catching kind of compound on each other. So if you're going and you're going to try and break a big run, what is kind of the same thing where you're trying to break tackles. Well, this is where fumbles come in. So if you're seeing, a lot of fumbles, it's probably because you have it set to aggressive on the break a big run. Again, it's the same thing. All these kind of work together in that it's a risk and reward. It's like, do you want to go for the big play, or do you want to cover up the ball and basically not have really any chance to fumble? Now, the key on this one is with the offense is what you got to keep in mind is, especially if you're playing online or an online dynasty, your opponent has the same controls. So if he's going to strip the ball and you're going to break more tackles, expect fumbles. It's going to happen, and you might get a lot of them. These are extremely powerful tools. I would mess around with them a lot instead of just instantly signing up for aggressive or conservative, and see what kind of fits your play style.